Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. It's eclectic DIY. It's me and my friends talking about what we think are interesting things. I hope you think they're interesting. That's maybe why you're tuning in. But we got some interesting stuff today. We're going to talk about the power of small, the tick explosion, and a gentleman named Gar's 10 tips for better shop work with my friend Nicole here. Hey.
Hey, how's it going? I guess if you don't think we're interesting, you should let us know,
Yeah,
though.
if you listen and you think we're boring, you should let us know. It's radio@gardenfork.tv.
I mean, do it kindly, though.
Start out by going, hey, love the show. By the way, you're boring.
That'll be my brother Montana sending in that message.
Your brother, your brother's been on the show.
I know, right? He's a great guest.
He kind of reminded me of the canoe building gentleman that I talked about in the last podcast.
Oh yeah.
Just that kind of down to earth, calm, almost to the point of doesn't care what other people think about them. You know, just a self confidence.
Right. I'm just gonna do what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do.
What's
Yeah. I can. Yeah, I
what's
feel
that
that.
like?
He's also a youngest, so he wants everybody to feel like they're winning.
Oh,
All right. So the ticks. The ticks are serious this year. I was at our pool that we're members of. Well, kind of members of. We're provisional members. And I'm sitting on the lounge chair, and all of a sudden I looked down and I was like, oh, there's a little bug. And then I was like, wait a second. That's not just a little bug, that's a
yeah.
tick. And I've subsequently found three, and this is an urban setting. I mean, we have like probably 10 trees on the property, but I was a little surprised that any deer were coming anywhere near anything. It was I sent a message to, everybody, like, check for ticks. Like, this is, I don't know what chlorine does to ticks, but I don't think it kills them.
The there actually are ticks in New York City, but the explosion has happened up at our house up in the woods, which is where I am right now. And I didn't really know. I just thought it was cyclical, but the New York Times has a number of really good email newsletters, and they wrote this whole post in the newsletter. I don't know if I can link to it or if I can send a link. They don't.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
Yeah,
behind a.
yeah.
I think this one's behind a paywall. I'm a subscriber to the New York Times. But the Fordham Tick Index, which gauges the risk of encountering ticks outdoors in the New York area, redlined last week. And it follows here. It put the risk at 10 on a 10-point scale and added this advice. If you're thinking of taking a hike, consider going to a movie instead.
Wow. Well, so to your point about it being cyclical, the last time I got a tick, we were out at the Shenandoah National Park in January. And that's when I got the last tick that I had. And I send them in because that's who I am. They're at the University of Pennsylvania. They have like a tick lab, and you can mail the tick in, and they'll analyze the tick. Well, first they check to make sure it's a tick that can carry a disease, and then if it is, they will tell you what disease it has. So I overnighted that tick. I mean, whatever, not
Priority
express mail,
mail.
but like the priority. Thank you. Priority mailed it. I mean, I'm not that crazy. And then it's $60 and they get it back to you in 24 hours. So then I was able to call my doctor and say, "Hey, listen, I got bit by a tick." And they gave me the antibiotic. They give you like a bulbous
Huh.
amount. It's like a big antibiotic. So I just took one of those and kept it moving. But yeah, I have other friends who are from Maine and they're like, "Oh, it's no big deal." And I'm like, I do not want to not be able to eat meat or get Lyme disease.
Yeah, it's the Lyme disease. I have several friends that have it, and it's debilitating. A couple interesting things here that explain because they talk to scientists, and we are science based here at Garden Fork Radio.
Yes.
I'll just summarize here. because there was a bumper crop of acorns in 2023, uh, more acorn eaters like deer, mice, and squirrels could gobble them up. This rich diet carried them into 2024. So they got through the winter, in other words. They had more litters and larger litters of animals. So we had more mice running around, more deer, and all the things that love to eat acorns. And after that, an explosion of the things that eat the things that eat the acorns. And those things that eat the things that eat the acorns are ticks. And that is this year.
Interesting. I wonder if the cicada are similar to the bumper acorns. Like if these things also ate the cicadas, so it was like a double double.
Ooh, I don't know. All I know is I have noticed an explosion of acorns. I have a couple of big oaks, and it was like walking on marbles last fall.
Yes.
So very interesting. That
Huh.
is Joellen Lampman of the Lampman of the Cornell Integrated Pest Management Program, and also
Does she talk about the increased temperature? Because I feel like we haven't had any good freezes either. I mean, I guess maybe this winter we did, but
yeah, that's the flip because this year, this last winter was the worst winter we've had in 20 years up in New England here, and it was down to it was -6, I think, several days, and I thought, oh, that'll kill all the ticks. No.
no, those are hardy little guys.
I'm lucky that Spiker, our yellow lab, seems to attract them more. I don't know because the ticks see a white object, a tan kind of object, and
Yes.
they jump onto that. And Andy, my black lab, is just jet black, and maybe they don't see that as much, or because.
Interesting.
But you can, Spiker comes in and she has a couch they're allowed to lie on, and you just see this black dot moving across her fur, and sometimes
Oh,
I pull 4
jeez.
ticks off her.
Oh, God.
They're taking Vectra, I believe it's called.
Okay.
It's an oral chewable that makes their skin toxic to the ticks. You should be careful
Well,
with the
and
Vectra though. Talk to your doctor about before using it.
yeah, there's some kind of vaccine you can get in Germany too for ticks, which we don't
Yeah, I
have
think
here
the Germans are ahead of us.
in this area. So, but yeah, maybe you can link to the tick report in case people ever need it. It's pretty easy to find. But it did give me a lot of I felt a lot better. And then you can also buy clothes that are pre-treated with
Per, pyr,
permethrin.
pyr, 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 pyrethrum. It's marigold based.
Oh, and then you can also treat it yourself, which apparently it's not that hard to do. You just need to make sure you have gloves on. You put it into the, a 5-gallon bucket with the treatment in there, and then you lay it out in the sun for it to dry. And once it's dry, it's stable and it will not harm humans.
Yes, I have a household version of that. It comes in a yellow spray bottle. It's about 15 feet from me on top of the washing machine, and I can't see it from here. But you spray your clothes, and the spray bottle. This all started because I don't know, it was Patagonia or one of the REI, one of the camping gear companies came out with clothes that had tick repellent baked into the cloth, and the idea is that
Mm-hmm.
you could wash it. I'm pulling a number on my like 72 times before the anti-tick deterrent wore out, and I'm like, oh, I have that in the basement. So it's a spray bottle of the pyrethrum with, I think, essentially a wax, an oily wax that you spray your clothes, and the squeeze bottle I have is enough for 2 sets of clothes. I don't do that.
Okay.
What I do is when I'm going to go out, like I've been cutting firewood in the woods, so I get dressed with my firewood, like my steel-toed boots, and I spray my boots, I spray my socks, not my skin, and I spray the cuffs of my pants, and I spray the belt line of my pants and my shirt, and I don't get any ticks on me. I don't get them crawl. I don't crawling
Okay.
in on me. Maybe they're on me, but they can't. They usually get in under your cuff of your pant or along your belt line,
Right.
and maybe while Nicole talks for a minute, I'll go grab the bottle. How's that?
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I guess what am I gonna say? They do kind of look like little baby crabs to me, and that's upsetting. Maybe he'll cut this, guys. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the. I'm not sure he's supposed to just spray it on. I think it's supposed to be dry when you use it. So let's see what the directions say when he gets back.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, good. Okay, we had a nice
It
discussion.
is the brand is called Sawyer, like Tom Sawyer. Paramethrin clothing, gear, and tents. Premium insect repellent. Odorless, repels and kills ticks, chiggers, mites, and mosquitoes for hunting, fishing, camping, and scouting. The directions are very dense with a lot of caveats, but it says treatment.
Yes, we wanted to know because I don't think you're supposed to touch it when it's wet. So I'm nervous about you spraying it.
Well, I don't touch my clothes after that. I just go out and I'm working in the woods or in the yard. Um,
Okay, make sure you spray it outside
but
then.
it does dry. I mean, it dries fairly quickly because you're out, you're out in the sun. But it says treatment for gear, mosquito netting, nets, canopies, screens, sleeping bags, backpacks, hammocks, chairs. Not effective on the skin. Apply to fabric only. Sawyer insect repellent. I'll link to this with my lovely Amazon affiliate link in the show notes to the show here. Yeah.
I I just tried not to use Amazon to buy a one of those car headlight restoration
Kits. Yeah.
kits. And so I was like, I'm going to go to Ace. I've got a local Ace. According to the internet, they have the kit. They didn't have the kit. I guess that you just have to call first.
With Ace and True Value, you can also order online and then pick it up the next day or two there because
Okay.
they usually get a
Yeah.
delivery every day. And Home Depot and Lowe's will deliver, at least to me in Brooklyn, with a $50 minimum purchase.
Oh, that's great.
And it's either FedExed or FedEx ground or brought by, there's a Home Depot truck that has like lumber and 2x4s on it delivering somewhere and they drop it off.
Oh, I love it. The guy just like dropped off a load of lumber and he's like, "Here's your car restoration kit, Eric. Sorry about the traffic in the
But like
street."
a can of paint is $75, $65, right?
Right.
So they will custom mix the paint and then they will drop it off the next day. And that way you're not wasting gas, you're not contributing more pollution to the world, you're not raising the carbon level because that delivery truck is already in your neighborhood every day anyway.
Right.
So for me, it's a win because I can pick out exactly what I want. Because it's not always fun going to the Home Depot in Brooklyn.
Well, it's not always fun. Well, it's funny. I texted last week. I was working on a new closet and I had gotten pieces, Frankenstein pieces from different people. So I had all my pieces. It's like 9:30 and I'm texting you and Rick. I can't find the
Yeah.
drill. I was so frustrated because it's like go time and all of my clothes from our closet are on our bed and it's literally
Oops.
bedtime. And so I head over to our Home Depot is open till 10. So I head over there at 10 o'clock. My sister's like, "Was anybody there?" I was like, "Yes, we had a circle. We went ahead and talked about all of the tools that we couldn't find and why we were at Home Depot at 9:30. Got the new drill, which actually was nice. My old drill was very heavy, and this new drill is really nice. But the kid who helped me didn't understand the words I was saying. I was like, "Oh, I see all these drills have batteries. I'd like a corded drill." And he said, "A corded drill?" And I said, "Yes, a drill with a cord." And he just looked at me. He's like, "Well, I think I know where those are."
Yeah. Find the oldest person in that department and talk to them.
At 9:30, there's not
I
many
know,
options.
especially like when paint.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm gonna start painting my house over the next couple of years, and I want to talk to an expert about. I have clapboard and I have high quality paint on it now, and what should I do to prep it? And do I lay down a primer and then the top coats, or do I need a primer because I've got a high quality? I already have a primer and two top coats on there from 15 years ago. So,
Right.
wow, that was a tangent.
Well, we're here for those.
So I was listening.
But it does kind of lead us into Gar's tool tips.
Yes.
since we're at tools.
Oh, let's talk about that then.
Okay, Gar's Tips and Tools, issue 167. Now I generally like his emails. I do think he has a lot of great interesting tips. Garth Branwyn, he did this email which was special issue for his 200th podcast or 200th email or something. Anyway, top 10 tips that will change your life.
Yes.
Now, hot take, our good friend Eric doesn't agree with all of them.
I actually, his name is Gareth. I guess it's called Gar or Gar. He is part of the inspiration for me expanding the email newsletter into the cool stuff newsletter as well. So I don't, I don't, I don't think what he said was bad. It doesn't apply to me. That's just what my point was of all this. But he did a talk at a maker space, and he was top 10 tips that will change your life. But I like some of them. It's
Yeah, I do too. I mean, so the first one, the universe is a collection of parts. Now, that's very Descartesian.
Yeah.
But I think we're moving away from that idea as a society. But I do like his idea of when you're trying to make something, instead of making all of it, to like, what does he call it? Frankenstein it together, to go around and find different pieces that you could put together to possibly make the new thing that you want.
Yes,
That
instead of fabricating it from scratch, you want to build something. Go around your house, go around the Home Depot, the Toys R Us, find stuff that has the little things you need to glue together, and you'll save time and you might actually solve a problem.
Well, and it kind of goes with, it's very garden fork to me. Like, okay, let's try this and see what happens.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
All right, that's great. I'm there. Okay. This is so true. You go to school on the first one or the first few.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to make something perfect the first time. Although I did that with my children. Just kidding. But Oscar, if you're listening to this, I do think you're great. First order retrievability. Oh, this is Eric. This is your constant struggle.
Yes.
And mine too, to be quite frank. I mean, I've just spent the last week and a half cleaning out my basement again. I was telling one of my girlfriends I was cleaning out my basement, and she's like, "Didn't you do that a couple of years ago?" And I just laughed.
Yeah,
I did.
what he touched on was something that, like, I don't know if you know Van Neistat on YouTube or his brother Casey Neistat. Their shops are incredibly organized, and Van Neistat has several videos about it. And I just can't be that way. I struggled for years, always thinking that there was something wrong with me because everyone's like, oh well, start your project this way and put everything away, and you should have nothing, no clutter on your desk at all. And I'm the complete opposite. And I still get stuff done, and I find a lot of happy accidents with all the junk I have laying around. I do look at some of my friends where you can't even walk into the workshop, and I'm like, oh, you have a problem here,
Right.
But I occasionally just really like cleaning my workshop or my garage. The birds have left the bird nest in my garage, so I can go back in my garage. And so I'm not disparaging what he wrote at all. It's just it's for a certain mindset, and there are people that don't have that mindset, and I'm one of them. So I'm telling everyone, if you're a hot mess in your arts and craft table, that's just totally fine.
And I years ago, this is one of my favorite life analogies, is about playing Barbies. And so I was always getting ready to play Barbies. I was always like setting them up, getting their clothes ready, getting their house ready, like, until I realized that that's what you're doing. That is playing Barbies. Is the getting set up. And it's kind of similar, like the visual detritus of my desk. Once I start looking into it, then I get ideas, and that's actually the idea generation.
Yeah.
So obviously we know this. I'm very visual. If I can't see it, it may as well not exist to me anymore. I don't know why that is, But yeah, it's very hard for me if I can't see something. And I have a good friend Dave who's constantly harping that I told him I was cleaning up the basement. He's like, I have a plan. Just chuck it all out the window and have the boys put it in the trash. And I was like, you just don't understand.
No. Yeah, I love the happy accident. I love going off on a tangent, much like we just did with the show here.
Well, but so this kind of feeds into the next one, working the cube. And the idea is to use unused spaces, but he has like up in the air those cubes, that storage system you can get where you put stuff into
Right.
boxes and then you hang it above your garage. Once it was in those boxes, it would be dead to me. Now, I have a friend. Her daughter went out to the basement and said to her dad, that's where he works, I'm looking for this plug-in for this thing. This man went to his computer, found his database of cables, looked at what box it was in, and then went to that box that was hanging in the garage and was able to retrieve this cable. And that is next level.
Yeah, but that's not us.
That's not us. Now, now I have basically forbidden myself from buying a new thing because I can't find the old thing. Previous story about the drill at 9:30 at night accepted. Because I don't want to fall into that trap where I have like 6 drills.
Oh, that's me. I have found my secret to organization is clear containers.
Oh, clear.
The only problem is most clear containers they smell like plastic even 5 years later.
That's true.
So I keep them in the basement. Um, but yeah, if so, I much like I need to see it. I also hang a lot of stuff up in the rafters. They're essentially the floor, well, they're the floor joists of the first floor, but I'm in the basement, and I just throw nails into the joists and I hang all sorts of stuff, and then I have a rope section above me above my shop because I'm like, oh, I need some rope, and I have little pieces, I have 100-foot rolls, and it's all in one place, and I know where to go, and I don't have to go into a box that's closed and has solid sides, and I'm like, oh, is that I know people that have that kind of database kind of mind, and it's beautiful, but I just don't have the mind. I also think it's a complete waste of time.
Well, somebody else's best advice about where to store things, if you can't find something, so the drill, once you get that item back, put it back in the first place you looked for it.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, yeah, that's really smart. I'm going to put it in the closet.
Well, that's why I'm putting more drawers in my workshop here. I made a video about putting in the first one. Um, and of course, IKEA stopped making these drawers that I love. They're flat pack
Oh,
drawers.
I know. They're really cool. I've been looking for them for you. What are they called again?
Garvas or
Hmm.
something. You can
Yeah.
buy them in Latvia and in England.
Oh, okay.
I could go to an IKEA in England. And
Okay.
yeah.
I'm here for the Garden Fork travel trip.
I do have a tool bucket, and that is super convenient. So all the critical stuff like my cordless drills, lineman's pliers, hammer, crowbar, drill bits, chisels, different drill tips for the drills, metal tip shears, tin snips, and pieces of coat hanger wire and electrical tape and duct tape and blue tape. That's all in one bucket.
All right. I need a video of the bucket.
Oh,
This is fascinating. I would totally watch this. This is your like everyday carry bucket or something.
there's a Garden Fork video about it. It's probably like 8 years old now, but I'll go dig it up.
Yeah, let's put a link to that.
Yeah.
We have a Sears toolkit that we got, or that Brent got years ago, that they don't make anymore, that has all the stuff in a little spot. And I have loved that thing, but it's broken, like it doesn't close anymore. And I was at Costco the other day, and they had a really nice looking toolkit.
Oh, yes.
So I did buy that, and it has a little drill in it, which was I actually like this little set a lot. I think it's really great. I had to fix some IKEA shelves the other day. Um, the other thing they have at Costco right now are 3 5-gallon buckets for $10.
Oh, nice.
Right. So, hot tip there.
Wow. There's another thing as far as tool organization and not being able to find your tools. I think it's perfectly okay to go to Home Harbor Freight and buy cheap tools as backup tools.
So he brings that up, the
Yes.
Harbor
Yep.
Freight. I like that.
That's yes. So this is what I love about Gareth.
Right?
So his whole thing was if you want to get into a new hobby or a new craft, you want to do woodworking, so you're going to buy a circular saw and whatever, buy the cheap version at Harbor Freight and play around and to see if you like woodworking. And if you find out you
Right.
hate it, you haven't spent $5,000 on, A level woodworking tools. And the
The
Harbor Freight's quality has improved immensely.
Yeah, he does make that point. And because years ago my brothers, like, apparently they had a recall on their thing that you put the cars on to
Oh, a
do
lift?
work. Their
Jack
lift,
stands. The
yeah.
jack stands they
Their
had a problem with.
jacks. Right, but that's good to know that they're much better now.
Yeah, I have 2 sets of jack stands from them, and they are quite helpful. Not even for lifting up the car. You can hold up all sorts of stuff with those things. And they're so
I
analog.
yes. Okay, his next one is one-handed first aid kit, which
It's a
that's
great
smart.
name.
Yes. Could we make a band out of that?
There's a band
I
called the
have
Chocolate Watch Band
That's adorable.
from the
Does it
70s,
melt?
I think.
Um, I have that little sitting right next to me, the little first aid kit that he has that he mentions that he
It's
loves,
an
this
easy
vintage
open kit.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cute. Yeah,
I cut myself almost every week, and then there's a certain phrase I let out, and the camera operator knows that she needs to come down the stairs and see where I'm bleeding.
oh jeez. Oh no. Oh jeez. Well, and Brent has a thing that if I'm screaming, everything's probably fine, but it's when I'm super calm and I'm like, Brent, I need your help immediately. He's like, oh no, call 911.
Ruh-roh.
This is not good. But if I'm screaming, everything's fine.
Wow.
Like, it just means there's been like a cockroach or something.
All right, is there one more that stands out for you?
Let's see here. Rule of buying time. One-handed first aid kits. Um, I don't know if I agree with this one. The details layer.
Yeah.
The more accurate you can get in your details, even with something as mundane as how you tie a knot, it all accumulates to acceptable accuracy. I don't know. You should see my sewing. Like, it's fine. That's fine. I get it. It's right. Try to do a good job.
Hey, if you I'm starting to watch a YouTuber about sewing. His name is Glory Allen. Glory like hallelujah, glory, and then Allan, I believe, and
Okay.
very approachable person talking about just basic sewing and has some great kits to sew a boxy hoodie, a boxy T-shirt, some other stuff. And I when I have some time, it's on my watch later list to watch a bunch of his videos. So just check that out.
Yeah, and along those lines, the circling back to the tools is keeping your tools nice, and I need to take my sewing machine in to get it serviced.
Usually the problem with the sewing machine is the lubrication is dried out.
Mhm.
Because I have a sewing machine from my mother-in-law from the 70s. It's a Singer. It's all metal.
Oh, we have the same one.
And I went to the Sewing Machine Whisperer in Sunset Park, who has a repair shop on kind of a. It's not a unsafe block. It's an industrial commercial block, and there's a
Okay.
string of janky garage doors made out of like cheap tin, and then one of them's been converted into like a storefront
Mhm.
with found objects. And the door is like a porch screen door, and I'm trying to open the door, and he's facing the back of the store, and he's just going with his hand and turning his hand up, and I'm like, what does he mean? So I finally realized you have to turn the knob up, not down, to get the door open.
Oh, funny.
And then I gave him my sewing machine. He goes, okay, we'll come back tomorrow. I go, how much will it be? And no, I just said, do you have an idea of how much it will be? He goes, it's $45. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I came back and he had sewn a test piece of cloth with it, these beautiful straight lines. And
Wow.
I said, how was it? He goes, it just needed to be lubricated. So yeah, take your
Hmm.
sewing machine to the Sewing Machine Whisperer in your area.
Right? I mean, do they even exist? They're hard to find.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's still a garment industry in Brooklyn, so this guy's main business is fixing. I don't know if anyone knows what a Juki sewing machine is. A Juki
Mm.
is a commercial sewing machine, and I see those often actually at his store. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, we filled
All
up
right.
some
Well,
time here.
we sure
We
did.
didn't even get to our whole list, so we're going to talk about some more of this in the after show for Garden Fork patrons. I'm going to talk about 2 non-alcohol wines that I've discovered lately. Um, the one thing I do miss about not drinking is a glass of red wine, and I think I found the solution to that. So that'll be in the after show. If you're interested in becoming a patron, the information is in the show notes here. A couple bucks, cup of coffee a month is what I asked for.
Right.
Nicole's a patron, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. I am. Yours.
All right. I love your thoughts. It's radio@gardenfork.tv. Go out and do cool stuff and make it a great day. Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.